Hope everybody can listen to me now. There was a bit of glitch on the system, so my apology for that. So let's get started with temporary graduate visa and recent updates from Department of Home Affairs regarding temporary graduate visa. I hope you all know that there have been some recent announcement from department regarding the extension of 485 visa, as well as the new replacement visa announced from 1st of July, which was last week, 2022, and how these new changes will help you or assist you to achieve your permanent residency in Australia, as well as extend your stay in Australia. So let's get started, guys. Some of the services that we provide, obviously, apart from migration and education services, you can see on the screen what are the other services we provide. Now, these are the topics we're going to discuss today. What is a 485 visa? What are the types of 485 visa? And what are the criteria and requirements for 485 visa? And who's eligible to apply for the extension of 485 visa? And what were the new changes introduced from department last week from 1st of July, 2022? And this replacement 485 visa, what it is about, who's eligible, and who can get the benefit of this replacement 485 visa. Now, for those of you who have already finished your studies, so congratulations for completing your studies. You have obviously completed the first step. You have already taken the first step towards your permanent residency, if that is something you want to achieve in Australia. So the first thing you'll be looking at to apply for TR, and that way you can lead to PR as well. And for those of you who are about to finish your studies or are in middle of your studies, I would wish you all the best to complete your studies, and hope you get eligible to apply for permanent residency in the near future. This is the best time ever. I would say I've been in migration industry for long. It's a lot easier, I would say, nowadays as compared to what it used to be in the last few years. If you are planning to apply for permanent residency in Australia, especially when during COVID, Australia has experienced major big time labor shortage, and we need people here. As simple as that. So obviously, this is the reason why government has introduced so many options to the visa holders, especially if you are an international student. I haven't seen any time in the previous years where government has announced full-time working hours for students. So it's a good news, which shows that definitely government wants to take positive steps towards the visa holders who are already in Australia. They want to prefer those applicants. They want them to get permanent residency, and they want them to be settled here for a longer period of time. So it's a good news for everybody, guys. Let's get started with this about the 485 visa. All right. So what it is, a 485 visa, we call it as a temporary graduate visa. So basically, it is a visa you apply once you finish your studies or complete your studies. Uh, we call it as a temporary residency visa or TR visa. As I mentioned before, when I started this session, this is the first step towards your permanent residency once you complete your studies. The best part of this visa is, how you have limited working hours, right? During your student visa, you can work full time as well as you can study any other course if you are interested in. If you're holding a temporary graduate visa or a 485 visa. At the moment, it doesn't make any difference because if you're holding TR or if you're holding a student visa, you can work full time. It doesn't make much difference. But yes, we are covering up all the information what we had before and what scenario we are in at the moment. So I'm going to cover up both topics. How you can use this current phase towards your permanent residency. Now, there are two streams for 485 visa. For those of you who doesn't know what's the difference between these two streams, you can see on the screen, graduate work stream, post-study work stream. So a graduate work stream is basically for the applicants who are studying a certificate level or diploma level or basically wet level courses. However, for post-study work stream, if you are studying any bachelor's or higher level of study, you can apply for post-study work stream. The duration of the visa also depends which stream you apply for, which I'm going to discuss in the next few slides. So graduate work stream and post-study work stream, let's discuss more about these two streams. And what are the basic requirements to apply for 485 visa? So on the screen, as you can see, these are the minimum requirements that you need to meet to apply for a 485 visa. You must be under the age of 50. You must have held a student visa, basically 572, 573, 500, or a bridge visa in the last 6 months. So basically, you must hold any of these visas in the last 6 months, especially I would say student visa subclass 500 in the last 6 months to apply for 485 visa. It's not only that, you must have completed a course in the last 6 months as well. And the course you have completed, it must be a minimum of 92 weeks. So when I say 92 weeks in Australia, as per regulation, the requirement is you must have completed 2 year of Australian study, and 2 year Australian study in terms of migration is a course which is registered for minimum 92 weeks. So if your course is registered for 92 weeks, if you have completed your studies in the last 6 months and you have completed minimum 16 calendar months stay in Australia, you are eligible to apply for 485 visa. Additionally, you gotta meet the English requirement as well as the health requirement and character requirement. So with English, you need overall 6 bands in IELTS with minimum 5 bands in each module. With health, you gotta clear the medical examination, and with your character requirement, you gotta clear the Australian Federal Police check. You need an Australian police check to apply for a 485 visa. The best part is you can include your family members, or if you have any child or children, you can include that in the application. Now, there has been some changes recently due to COVID. Like with COVID concessions, let's talk about pre-COVID. Back in the days, if you were to apply a 485 visa, you can only, like say, just to give you an example, if present in Australia, but I'm married, my wife is overseas. Back in the days, I could only apply for the visa myself. And once my 485 visa gets granted, I have to apply for a subsequent entrant or dependent applicant to the department for my wife from overseas. So when I say overseas, I'm talking about outside Australia. Uh, Now, at the present scenario, due to COVID concession, Department of Home Affairs have allowed to include your family member even if they are overseas. So if I'm present in Australia, if my wife is overseas or my child is overseas, I can include them in the same application, and they can be granted the same visa at the same time once my visa is granted. So it's a combined application you can make. So there hasn't been any, a deadline from the department, but most likely we are expecting it will be available by the end of this financial year, which will be probably June 2023. But there hasn't been any announcement made from the department, or there's no deadline from the department how long they're going to keep this concession on for. So if you are in the situation, I would say try to launch the application as soon as possible if you are eligible, because you never know, department may announce the concession closure probably in next few months or any time soon. So I hope this helps. A lot of applicants have asked me this question about the COVID concession, how long it's going to stay. So it's really important. It can go off anytime. So better you get the benefit out of it as soon as possible. Uh, Guys, I must mention this thing that once we deliver all the information, our guest speaker, Mr. Ashish, will be providing you all the information about the insurance policies you can apply for while you're holding 485 visa or any other visa category. And I'll be taking Q&A. There will be a Q&A session. You can ask your questions. More than happy to answer uh, as many as questions I can, depending how we go with the time limits. Uh, but yeah, I mean, feel free to ask any question, but I would appreciate if you can please wait for the end of the session so I can take all of your questions. So let's move on further, guys. So, as I mentioned before, two categories, graduate work stream, which you can see on your screen. So it's mainly for certificate level or, diploma level or trades, mainly trades qualification. If you are studying, say, for example, Cert 3 in commercial cookery, Cert 4 in commercial cookery, or a diploma of hospitality, a package course of 2 years or 92 weeks, yes, you are eligible to apply for graduate work stream visa. Now, some of the new changes back in the days, when I say previously, back in the days, if you were to apply for 485 visa on a graduate work stream, department used to grant the visa only for 18 months. However, with new changes, they have agreed to grant the visa for 2 years. So it's a benefit for applicants who are applying in the graduate work stream. They get the benefit of 2 years, and when they apply for a 485 visa, they can, if they've started a trade course, they can either do a job ready program for 1 year, which still leaves them about a year or maybe more than that, depending how long you've been on a bridging visa for, waiting for your 485 to be granted. So you can complete your job ready program. That still leaves you about 1 year, and you can look for the options for your permanent residency in a particular state or territory. Now, one of the major change that government has introduced that since last week or 1st of July 2022, uh, nobody has to, anybody who's applying for a graduate work stream, they do not have to nominate an occupation on long-term list. Now, this is a massive change that government has introduced. And one of the major factor that government has introduced this change due to the shortage of labor or the workforce in Australia. It's pretty simple that Australia needs people at this stage, and they are doing every single thing they can from their end to make sure that the students or the visa holders who are staying in Australia, they get the maximum benefit out of it, and they contribute towards the economy by filling the shortage of labor or workforce in Australia. Now, so if anybody did, say, for example, diploma level courses, as long as you completed 2 years of study, you can apply for a temporary graduate visa under graduate work stream. You do not need to nominate an occupation from long-term list, or in other words, I would say you do not need a provisional skills assessment. So back in the days when if anybody wanted to apply for graduate work stream, you needed to nominate an occupation as well as you needed a provisional skills assessment from the respective skill assessment body. But that's not the case anymore from 1st of July. But most important thing that you need to remember that it's a temporary relaxation. As I mentioned just now, that government has introduced these changes to fill the workforce shortage in Australia. It will not stay there forever. So if you are one of those applicants who are eligible, get the benefit out of it. Most likely it will, like at this stage, they have a government has announced that it will be available till June 2023. It may be extended. There is a possibility, but do not quote me 100% on that because it may not be there after June 2023. So choose your course wisely. That's really important. So if you sorry about the interruption. So yeah, I mean, choose your course wisely. I've seen few applicants recently that they've been advised from their either migration agent or the education agencies where they have consulted that there's no need to study a trade course or anything like this. Thing will stay forever, and you can enroll into any XYZ course, and you can apply for TR visa after you finish your course. That's not the case. One of the main thing that I would like to present here is that mainly if you are studying certificate level courses, certificate 3 or certificate 4, for example, certificate 3 in aged care or individual support or any other courses which are not a trade qualification, and you're studying a certificate level course, you may not be eligible to apply for TR undergraduate work stream because it's mainly for trades qualification or diploma level qualification. So if you're studying a diploma of business as well as diploma of leadership management for 2 years, yes, that's fine. But if you're studying certificate 4 in business, certificate 3 in aged care, certificate 4 in individual support, any of these courses will not help you to apply for graduate work scheme. So make sure you double check with your agent or the agency you are getting enrolled in for these courses, whether you'll be eligible to apply for graduate work stream or not. Uh, and the other benefit is that when you apply for graduate work stream, you will have 2 years and you can provide your pathways towards permanent residency while you have holding this TR visa for 2 years. Now, another thing I would like to mention here is about the time frame. Like, it's really important that if you're eligible, apply as soon as possible. Do not delay. Uh, I have this instance, for example, a lot of applicants, may have this question in their mind that, okay, well, I came to Australia to study diploma leading to bachelor's. I have completed for example, diploma of business plus diploma of management leading to bachelor of business. I've completed my diploma of business and diploma of management. Do I really need to continue study for bachelor's because I came here to study bachelor's? The answer to that question, if you're eligible, if you've completed 2 year of Australian qualification, diploma level qualification, as I mentioned, diploma of business and diploma of management for 2 years, you can certainly exit. I wouldn't say exit. You can certainly apply for temporary graduate visa. However, you need to continue your studies until you get the 485 visa grant because your actual visa you're holding is a student visa and you have to continue with your bachelor's until you get your 485 visa grant. You cannot exit the course because your current visa condition, which is a student visa, still says that you got to continue your studies. So you have to continue enrolling into your bachelor's if that's the situation you're in. mainly like for diploma leading to bachelor's. So if you are in that scenario, you can apply for 485 visa, which may take another 4 to 6 months for grant, but up till that time, you have to continue studying bachelor's. I hope that helps. Let's move on further. Next category we're discussing here is post-study workstream. This is mainly for applicants who are studying bachelor's or higher level qualification, whether it will be master's coursework or research, depending which course you're studying, or the length of the TR depends which course you're studying, or the duration of the TR depends what course you are enrolled in or what course you have completed. So if you're studying bachelor's degree, whether it will be honors or just a standard normal bachelor's degree, you will be granted a TR or 485 visa for 2 years. However, due to the recent announcement, I guess in late 2021, government announced that if anybody's studying master's by coursework or research, they will be granted a visa for 3 years. So that's a benefit for applicants who are studying masters in Australia. They get a TR for 3 years. And for applicants who are studying PhD or any doctorate level course, they will be granted PR for 4 years. Anybody who's watching this video holding Hong Kong or British national overseas passport, good news for you guys is that you get a visa or TR visa for 5 years. So, as I mentioned before, the duration of the TR depends on the course you're studying, whether it'll be bachelor, master's, PhD, or any other course. You can see the duration, but if you have any doubt, you can always ask me by the end of the session. Moving on further, guys. This is just a quick screenshot or a snapshot of the visa application fee to the Department of Home Affairs. So, as you can see, if you're a primary applicant, it'll be 1730. But if you have a dependent like your wife, it'll be 865, and if you have a child, it'll be 435. That's the application fee that you have to pay to the department to apply for 485 visa. Additional expenses apart from this would be the Australian Federal Police check, your medical examination, and obviously your IELTS or PTE score. You have to book that exam as well. So give and take, I would say probably about, you can say $500 or $600 on top of this, depending if you're single applicant or applying for TR along with your second dependents or not. So okay, let's get started with one of the major topic for the day. I hope you understood well about 485 visa, the general requirements, but what is this second post-study workstream visa is about? Government announced this visa category, I think late 2020 or early 22, late 2020, if I'm not wrong. Basically, back in the days, I would say, let's talk about pre-COVID. Back in the days, if you have been granted 485 visa once, you never get the opportunity again to apply for 485 visa again in your life, unless you get married and your wife becomes, or your wife or husband becomes a primary applicant. But back in the days, this was the scenario. However, with the second post-study work stream or 485 visa extension category, a same applicant can get eligible to apply for a second 485 visa. It's not applicable to all the applicants, but there are certain criteria that the individual need to meet to apply for 485 visa extension. So most important thing I would like to mention that it's only available to applicants who have applied for post-study workstream. So if you have started bachelor's or master's, then only you can avail the option of 485 visa extension. If you completed a trade qualification or diploma level qualification or any other vet sector qualification, you are unfortunately not eligible to apply for 485 visa extension. So it's only available to bachelor's and master's graduate. What are the requirements? You must have completed your study, and you must have lived in regional area for 2 years to apply for. Obviously, like, let me just rephrase it again. To apply for a 485 visa, initially you have to complete your study. Mainly, like, this visa category is for the regional areas. If anybody has studied or completed study from regional area, they are eligible to apply for a second 485 visa extension, assuming they have met the requirement on for their first 485 visa. I know it's a bit confusing, so I'll repeat myself again. It's mainly for applicants who have completed their studies from regional area, and as long as they've met the requirements on their first 485 visa, they get eligible to apply for 485 visa extension. Now, again, it depends which area you have completed your study from, which area you have lived on your 485 visa, how it did, like for your 485 visa extension, you may be granted 1 year or 2 years. I'll explain more about that, but I understand it is a bit confusing. That's why, I'm trying to go slow. So let's take an example. If you are living in, say, let's talk about Victoria. If you're living in Geelong, you have completed your studies from Deakin University. You've been living and studying in Geelong. You applied for a post-study work stream visa. While you were holding your 485 visa for 2 years, you lived, studied, and worked. Or, I mean, sorry, while you were holding your 485 visa, first 485 visa, you lived and worked in Geelong for 2 years, all during all the duration of your 485 visa. You will be eligible to apply for another 1 year extension under 485 visa extension stream. So you gotta be working, living, and studying in regional area only if you are holding 485 visa. So to be eligible to apply for 485 visa extension, you must meet this requirement on 485 initial 485 visa. So you must have lived, worked, and studied during first 485 visa grant to be eligible for second 485 visa extension. I hope that makes sense. Now, as it says on the screen, 1 year extension if you studied, lived, and worked in cities and major regional center of Perth, Adelaide, Gold Coast, Sunshine Coast, Canberra, Newcastle, Wollongong, Geelong, and Hobart. So 1 year extension, I would say that falls under category two, and 2 year extension falls under category three. So, for example, if anybody is living in Cairns, for example, and they've completed the study from Cairns, one of the universities in Cairns, they've completed their study from there. They applied for a 485 visa. They got the grant for 2 years. They they stayed in Cairns for 2 years. Now, when it comes to the expiry of their first 485 visa, they are eligible to apply for extension, but they're eligible to apply for another 2 years because they have lived and worked and stayed there that regional area for 2 years while they were holding first 485 visa. As I mentioned, it is a little bit confusing. If you want to know whether you're eligible for 1 year or 2 year, we have to check the postcodes. We have to see where you started, where you completed your study from, and where you lived and worked while you were holding first 485 visa, and whether you will be eligible for 485 extension for 1 year or 2 years. So that's the factors we need to check before we give you an answer whether you can apply for 485 extension or not. I hope that helps. And for your 485, sorry about that. So for your 485 visa extension, you can include your family members as well. So if you got a child or if you're married, you can include your partner as well. And one of the main thing that is different from the existing 485, if anybody wants to apply for a 485 visa now, as I mentioned before in the session, that if I'm applying for a 485 visa now, I can include my partner from overseas due to the COVID concession. But if anybody wants to apply for 485 visa extension or a second post-study work stream, all the applicants must be present in Australia. So this is different. There's no COVID concession in this category. So all the applicants must be present in Australia to apply for second post-study work stream. Another good point about this category is that you do not need to meet the English language requirement as you do this. There's no requirement to meet the English language or IELTS requirement as compared to what you do for like standard 485 visa, where you have to have minimum 6 overall and 5 bands in each module. With second post-study work stream, even if your score is not valid, you can still go ahead and apply for 485 visa extension. So I hope that helps you guys. And I would like to say really sorry on my apology on that. Like I've got a bad voice, I've got a bit of cold, so please bear with me. I'm trying my best to cover up as much as I can and try to give you as much as information I can. But yeah, as I said, like I've got a bit of cold, so the voice is a bit rough. So thank you for your patience. So the fee for to the department for second post-study workstream visa, it's a little bit less as what you pay for initial 485 visa. So as you can see, if you're a primary applicant, you pay $680, and if you got secondary applicant, in your application 340, and for a child it will be 175. So definitely it's pretty much half of the price what you pay for first 485 visa. Second 485 visa is not that expensive to apply. Now, I was just talking about category 2 and category 3, areas. So category 2 is something which you can see on your screen. If you talk about Perth, Adelaide, Gold Coast, Sunshine Coast, Geelong, Wollongong, Hobart, they all comes under category 2. So if you have started from any of the category 2 areas or centers, you can only apply for 1 year extension for second 485 visa stream. But if you have completed your studies and stayed in that regional area that falls under category 3, you will be eligible to apply for additional 2 years 485 visa. So you can see the postcodes on the screen. As you can see, I mean, let's talk about Victoria cities and major regional centers. That's category 2. And underneath that, you can see regional centers and other regional areas. That's category 3. So as I mentioned, you have to look at the postcode. You have to work it out. Okay, well, which area I lived in, whether I'll be eligible for 1 year or 2 year. We can provide this link to you guys later if you need to know where exactly these postcodes are, but you can feel free to take a picture of the screen. I'm gonna just move on to the next slide where you can see the postcodes from other states as well. So Queensland, WA, NSA. With Queensland, you may see all these new postcodes which has been added recently due to the floods we had in Queensland. These new postcodes, which are in bold, have been added to this category 2 list. So anybody who's falling under these postcodes may be eligible to apply for second 485 visa extension as well. So it's important to know because the current postcodes will apply to the new applicants as well. So if you, just to give you an example, if you have for those applicants who are in Queensland, I hope everybody knows where Ipswich is. So if you have lived and studied in Ipswich, now the Ipswich postcode has been added to the list, you will be eligible to apply for, 485 visa plus 1 year extension of 485 visa as well. That's just a general example I've given. But detailed postcode list, you can find it on the website, or we can provide you the link as well. And feel free to ask the questions, once I finish the session and once Mr. Ashish provides you the information about the insurance policies. So we got up on the screen Tasmania, ACT, Northern Territory. Obviously, Northern Territory, the entire state is in, considered as regional. And ACT, you have to, anybody studying or living in ACT, they can only apply for 1 year post-study work stream extension. That is only for 1 year. As you can see, they do not consider regional center. Category 3 is not there it's only available for category 1. All right, so main topic for the day, 485 visa replacement, which was announced last week on 1st of July from the Department of Home Affairs. As we all know that, when we were going through COVID-19 pandemic, a lot of applicants who were holding 485 visa got stuck overseas. And there was an announcement, or not announcement, I would say there was an extension or auto extension given to the applicants who were stuck overseas. Their visa were automatically renewed for another 6 months, which was till September this year, the next few months. So all those applicants who were holding 485 visa, they were given the auto renewal for 6 months from the Department of Home Affairs, so they could come back to Australia and apply for any other visa categories as they wanted to be fair to those applicants. However, at the same time, they said that government is going to introduce a replacement visa for 485 visa holders who lost the time during their stay overseas, who lost the time overseas due to the border closures of Australia. They couldn't come to Australia and they had lost all of the time on their 485 visa. So many applicants I've seen wanted to enroll into the professional year. They couldn't complete the professional year. Some of the applicants I've seen, they had a job at the time they left, but because the borders were closed, they couldn't come back in. They couldn't complete 1 year of experience requirement, which is mandatory for some of the skill assessment bodies like Medesis. So considering all these factors, the department introduced this replacement stream One of the biggest concern we all had at the time when department was talking about a replacement stream 485 visa was what would be the duration of replacement stream visa? Would it be the time that was left on your visa, or would it be the whole duration of the of 485 visa? So mainly, the biggest announcement or the good news for all those applicants for replacement stream, if you have been outside Australia from 1st of February 2020 till 14th of December 2021, even for a day or two or months due to border closures, you are eligible to apply for a replacement stream. Now, depending if you were holding a graduate work stream, you will be granted a visa for 2 years now. From 1st of July, if you're eligible, you can apply. You will be granted for 2 years. But if you were holding a post-study work stream visa, or if you did masters and you are holding post-study work stream visa, you will be eligible to apply for this replacement stream, and you will get the benefit of 3 years visa grant. So it's really important to understand how government is introducing all these measures and benefit for the existing visa holders. I understand that it has been very unfair from the government, but considering the country's interests, they had to keep the border closed for more than 2 years, and unfortunately, all those applicants who was holding the visa couldn't come back. But I can certainly see that Australian government has taken definite steps towards the visa holders. They understand the pain, what they had to go through, and they're bringing these measures, though it has taken a bit long, but they are taking these measures to bring those visa holders back into Australia, and they want to do everything what they could from their end so they can get the benefit out of the new measurements what have been introduced from the department. So yeah, to apply for this visa, you can be in Australia or overseas as well. So if you were overseas and your 485 visa got expired during that time frame, you're eligible to apply for 485 visa replacement stream. It's available now. I mean, there are a few glitches in the system at the moment that we have experienced while applying for 485 visa replacement stream, but it's in the process. Department is working on it. There is a bit of system glitch which doesn't allow us to go all the way through to the application, but we got a notification from department a couple of days back that they're working on it. It will be available, probably next few days once the glitch is fixed. So this is really important, guys, to understand that if you are eligible for this replacement visa, and if you are one of those applicants who are watching this video from overseas, or if you know someone who was stuck overseas during 1st of February 2020 till 14th of December 2021, and their 485 visa got expired during that time frame, make sure you share this video or share this information with them that they are eligible to apply for another 485 visa replacement, which is available now. And there is an opportunity for them to come back to Australia for a duration of 2 to 3 years, depending what course they were studying at the time they were granted 485 visa. And you never know, they may be able to, meet the requirement of permanent residency in Australia. That may change their life forever. So I request all of you to share this information. And moving on further, like I said, I mean, due to the time limits, we have to, continue the session, uh, and I'll be taking questions as well. So I think I've already discussed this. 3 years if you were like for master's applicants, back in the days, you were only eligible to get 2 years visa grant, but nowadays they're granting 3 years. So as I mentioned just before that, if you've studied masters, you will be granted a visa for 3 years under replacement category. If you have studied trade level or wet course, you will be granted a visa for 2 years instead of 18 months. So get the benefit out of it. The first point, which says 2 to 5 years visa duration, that's mainly for Hong Kong and British national overseas passport holders. So that may not apply to you. If it does, yes, you will be eligible to get for up to 5 years of visa grant. That's the fee structure. It's pretty much similar to what you pay for the initial 485 visa. I would say it's a little bit lesser what you pay for initial 485 visa, but there's not much difference. I would say probably as a primary applicant, it would be around, I guess, $40 or $50 difference. So not much, but you pay pretty much the same price what to the department what you paid for your initial 485 visa. But to be honest, I believe paying this much, it's worth it if you're getting a visa grant for 2 to 3 years. But if you are eligible for this visa category, please go for it. And if you need to know more information about the future prospects of your permanent residency in Australia, you can always contact your nearest housing group office. I'm sure one of our migration agents will certainly help you to find out the best available pathway to you. Well, guys, that's pretty much it from my end. As I mentioned before, my name is Prince Pahal. I'm a registered migration agent as well. MAR number 1681374. You can contact me on the screen. You can see my details up there, or feel free to walk into the office. I'm based in Brisbane, but if you're watching this video from any other state, we have got our offices located in pretty much all the states of Australia. Whether if you're in Melbourne, Perth, Adelaide, Sydney. Uh, and we've got office in Canberra now as well. So anybody who's watching from this video from these states, feel free to get in touch with your nearest Aussies Group office. We have registered migration agents in all our offices, and I'm sure they can certainly help you with your query, whether it'll be for TR, PR, or education. Thank you so much, guys. I would like to introduce or request Mr. Ashish to talk about the insurance policies related to 485 visa. Ashish, you there? Sorry, just a moment.
Yeah, hi. Thanks, Prince. Thanks for
Pleasure,
inviting us
Ashish.
to be a part of this conclave today. The information you provided, I'm sure, is very useful for your clients. Aussies and NIB have been long-standing partners, and together we have tried to protect the interest of the students and the temporary graduate visa holders, trying and providing them with the necessary information in relation to their health insurance. I'm very mindful of the time that we have got left, so
Sure.
I'm going to talk about the benefits of having NIB health insurance. We'll run through quickly the benefits of the products, what's available for 485 visa holders.
Sorry, just one more thing, Ashish, before you start. I think I have missed out one important factor regarding the health insurance. To all of you guys who are watching this video, just make sure that there is a requirement for all of you to maintain the health insurance once the 485 visa is granted. So if you held a if you held a student visa and if your OSHC is about to expire, it doesn't mean that you do not have to hold it for further health insurance. That's one of the conditions for 485 visa grant, that you must maintain your health insurance all the way through, as long as your 485 visa is valid till. So that's why it's really important for you to make sure that you hold the health insurance. And that is the reason why we got Mr. Ashish to provide you the information which may help you to choose the right provider. Please, Ashish. Sorry, Ashish, you can go ahead.
Yeah. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So,
then a little bit and then less. Almost done there.
So, NIB has been a provider of insurance for overseas members for more than 36 years. Currently, we have more than 190,000 overseas students and workers. We have a dedicated multilingual account management team, which the team is available to all migration agents and education agents. So if you have any queries, we can answer them in different languages. We have simple processes which look after the health wing of the students. And we have ongoing promotional support and information updates which are available through the NIB app. We have developed the NIB app, which will be your first point of contact through which you can contact all healthcare providers. I will run through, once you have opted for different products, what are your options, how you can look after your health, and what you can do next. One important thing that I want to mention here is that we are eliminating the issuing of plastic cards. So once you have downloaded the NIB app, you don't need a plastic card anymore. You can just swipe or scan your digital card at the providers who have got the high caps facilities, and you can make use of the services. Being an NIB member, you do also have access to NIB rewards, and those rewards are updated from time to time, which will be which will be in the app as well. So once you decided to go with NIB, what are your options? So your options, meaning like what are the products that you can go for? So we have 4 different options, starting with the budget cover, which is just a hospital cover. It does not give you any coverage for seeing a GP, which is called the outpatient services. And then you have the Advantage visitor cover, which comes with the option of having GP services or outpatient services. Now, no matter which cover you choose, whether budget or Advantage cover, both of them have got 100% coverage in all hospitals in Australia, except for certain services, which I will go through a bit later. You also have the option of adding extras product. The extras products are things like optical, dental, physio. These are the new products which have been added, and these can be added to both budget or Advantage cover. Just going to quickly run through the budget cover and what it covers. So, as I said, it covers you for 100% of the cost in any hospital, excluding a few services, and the few services that are not included, which will not be covered up to 100%, are obesity and weight loss, palliative care, pregnancy and birth related services, and psychiatric treatment. So this is under budget cover, which is in-hospital cover only, so no GP services. However, it does cover you for pregnancy only for delivery purposes, and your benefit will be up to the Medicare charges. Some of the things that will not be covered at all are assisted reproductive services, bone marrow, cosmetic surgery, infertility, outpatient doctors, outpatient pharmaceutical, and services that are not covered by Medicare. So that's your budget cover. Most of you are probably migrating from a student visa 500 to 485. So you have already taken health insurance, you've been in Australia for a while. If you have had previous insurance for more than 12 months, you don't need to serve any waiting periods. If you didn't have insurance, then you have to serve the waiting period, including for pregnancy. The next option available for you is the Advantage hospital cover, which is the cover with GP services. Hospital inclusions are same as budget. The exclusions are also same as the budget cover. However, this cover gives you the option of going and seeing a GP. And GP, when you go and see a doctor, you will be covered 100% of the cost up to the MBS charges. So MBS charge is a charge that is prescribed by the government under Medicare, and those are the charges that will be you will be reimbursed for. As I said, you also have the option of adding extras cover to any of these 2 covers, which will give you unlimited preventive dental treatment. That means you can go for a scale, clean checkup anytime. There is no limit. You have a general dental limit of $600, major dental of $600, optical $250, and physiotherapy $400. All these limits are per calendar year, and you get 60% of the benefit back each time you use these facilities. Once you become the member, the most preferred way of being in contact with your health insurer or provider is via the NIB app. Simply download the NIB app and register there, and you will be able to see all the benefits and all the. I want you to, this is a short video of 1 minute. It will explain to you that once you're in the country, you've taken the cover, you're with NIB, and if something happens to you, what do you do next?
Sorry, Ashish, are we playing any video, are we? Oh.
So that's nice and easy. You don't even have to go to the emergency center. You can simply use your app to contact the doctor. If the doctor is not available, you can leave your details for them to contact you. Um, it's as simple as that. And if for any reason you're not able to use the app and you want to look for a provider online, you can just go on nib.com.au and I'll try to show you where you can find that information. Sorry, my screen's not allowing to do that, but you can just go on nib.com.au and click find a provider, and it will show you the providers that are in your area, and also whether you need to pay any charges on top or you don't need to pay any charges there. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer. As the case for each of you might be different. Over to you, Prince.
Sure. Thank you so much for the information, Ashish. Appreciate your time and the information you've shared with us. But yes, guys, if you have any questions in regards to insurance, you can ask him in the comment section and I can read the questions, or you can contact us directly. We can certainly assist you with any of the questions or queries you have regarding your health insurance. So let's move on further with the Q&A session. I've got a few questions in the comment section. I'll just go through some of the questions I have on the screen, and I'll try to cover up as much as we can. We haven't got much time left, but I'll try to cover up as much as I can. All right, so the first one I've got is from Ruchit Joshi. Will this work for people who are in India right now? Ruchita, depends which visa category you're talking about. If you're talking about replacement visa, sorry, if you're talking about replacement visa, yes, it is available to applicants who are overseas. But if you talk about second 485 visa or initial 485 visa, you have to be present in Australia. I hope that helps, Ruchita. I've got this second one from Narendra Dudatra. Sorry if I mispronounce your name, Narendra. If I do masters in IT in regional area, then 485 visa will be for 3 years or 4 years. Okay, that's a good question, Narendra. Altogether, it will be, it could be up to 5 years, depending. Let me just give you a heads up how it works. So if you study masters, first thing you will be granted a visa for 3 years, like I'm talking about temporary residency visa or 485 visa. If you study masters, regardless you do it from regional or non-regional area, you will be granted a visa for 3 years, TR visa initially. Now, if you do that master's from regional, depending if it's category 2 or category 3, you can get additional 1 year or 2 years. So it can be up to 5 years altogether, but it could be 4 years if you study from category 2. And if you just do it from metropolitan city, it'll be for only 3 years. I hope that helps, Narendra. I've got next one from Farid. I was granted 485 visa for 2 years only after masters. Is there any possibility of extension? Understand your pain, Farid. Unfortunately, we have had so many applicants in the similar situation where they were granted visa for 2 years only. It's something that government or department has announced, and the day they announce this new benefits for the applicant who's completed masters, they were given 3 years, but a lot of applicants who were granted a visa a couple of days before this announcement missed out on this. So unfortunately, there is no news from the department yet for the applicants who completed masters and got visa for 2 years, whether there will be any possibility of extension or not. We haven't heard anything from the department yet, but if there is something, we will definitely share this on our Facebook page if you're connected with us. But as of now, there's no as such news. I hope that helps, Farid. So next one I've got is Makara Van. Will I need to add my wife into 485 replacement application again as secondary applicant if she has already applied for 485 SE and waiting for the visas? I believe 485, she's already applied for 485 and waiting for the visa. Now, I'm not sure if she already applied if she's already applied as a 485 visa secondary applicant waiting for the visa. Okay, I'm not 100% and clear on the question what you have asked, Makara, because if you were to apply for 485 replacement visa, you need to add all the applicants. But if your wife has already applied for an independent visa, like when I say independent as a primary applicant for 485 visa, I'm sure she would have included you in the application, in her application as well. So with replacement, like if your wife is going to apply for 485 visa as a primary applicant, I'm sure you're going to get minimum 2 years. So we have to assess your case to see if she has done a trade course, you will be given only 2 years. But if you have calculated masters in the past and applied for uh, 485 visa, there is a possibility you may get it for 3 years. So in that case, you better apply for a replacement visa and include your wife in the application and get the benefit of 3 years 485 visa. But as I said, like, we need more information on that. Fareed, again, any benefit in 485 for people living in metro cities? Certainly, there is a benefit, Fareed, but only if you are studying masters, because you get the benefit of 3 years of TR. And at the same time, if you're studying trade course, instead of 18 months, you get benefit of TR for 2 years now instead of 18 months. But for bachelor's applicants, it's, I kind of feel it a bit unfair because they don't get much benefit of, bachelor's, studying bachelor's from metropolitan city because, they get only 2 years of 485 visa. Any from Shredha Vinod, any benefit of being overseas during the travel restriction with student visa? Unfortunately, not Shredha, because all these announcement and information that we have provided is available to temporary graduate visa holders who lost the time for their 485 visa while they were stuck overseas. So being on a student visa, I'm sure your university, college, or institute would have given you an opportunity to study online. So as of now, there is no benefits or any concession given to the student visa holders. It's only for TR applicants. Let's go to the next one. If uh, if someone held a bridging visa B, if someone held a bridging visa B and went overseas after their masters in 2020 and their TR visa started after arriving back in Australia when the borders opened, will they be eligible for the replacement visa? Okay, so I believe that you're talking about an applicant who went overseas and came back to Australia and his TR got granted while he was in Australia. Unfortunately, that applicant will not be eligible for replacement visa because you need to understand the point what government is trying to do here, that they want to help those applicants who were stuck overseas or lost time on their 485 visa while they were overseas, and they have given this opportunity to them to apply for a replacement visa. So in this case, if there's no, I don't see any time lost for this applicant because his or her TR got granted when they came back to Australia, maybe for 2 years or 3 years, I don't know. Most likely to be for 3 years because he's done masters, but I don't think they'll be eligible for replacement visa. And next one I've got is from Herbert. Hi everyone, what is the estimate time to be granted 485 visa extension? Herbert, usually it's about 4 to 6 months, but we are seeing delays from Department of Home Affairs due to the shortage of staff within Department of Home Affairs as well, and due to the backlog they have got at the moment. There are delays expected from Department of Home Affairs, but on an average, it's about 4 to 6 months. And the next one I've got is from Dimitri. Degree from regional university beneficial for longer 485, but is it true that ex-students from low-rated universities have difficulties finding jobs after graduation in comparison with students graduated from top unis, top eight? Okay. All right. So, Dimitri, I guess you're trying to ask, like, is there any difference if you study from top eight universities in Australia or if you study from regional or any lower level university in Australia? To be honest, in my opinion, yes, it does make a little bit of difference if you are graduated from a top-rated university, which is well known to all the top firms in Australia. If you're applying for the jobs, that definitely adds on to the value to your resume if you're studying from one of the top-rated universities in Australia. But at the same time, I can't deny the fact if you have had good experience or good knowledge about the particular field you're studying, say if you're studying in a low-rated university in a regional area, if you have a good knowledge and good skills in your particular profession, I don't see that will make much difference whether you're studying from a top university or a low-rated university. As long as your skill set is good enough to find you a job, that will definitely help. So I hope that helps you, Dimitri. Guys, I'll be taking just a couple of more questions. I think we are running out of time, so we have to be quick. Fareed, benefit of NIB over other insurance. Ashish, if you are there, please can you answer this question from Fareed? What are the benefits to get the NIB cover as compared to the other insurance providers?
Yeah, so that's a very good question. So NIB covers 100% of the cost in hospital, which no other insurer covers. So when you're admitted in the hospital, you're not out of pocket for anything, except for the services that I mentioned to you, which are on which you get lower benefits on the budget cover, like pregnancy, and some of the exclusions like obesity and things like that. But for generally anything that is covered under the MBS, and if you are admitted, you won't be out of pocket for anything. And the second reason is that NIB covers $20,000 as funeral insurance. So in an unfortunate instance that there is a death in Australia of the policyholder, we will pay up to $20,000 either to perform the last rites in Australia or to take the body back to the home country. There is also a provision for repatriation. So for if the doctors feel that you should be going back to your home country for further treatment, you have a repatriation benefit as well. And if it is required that you should be flying in an air ambulance, NIB will cover that as well.
Right. Thank you so much for the answer, Ashish. I hope that helps you, Fareed, to choose the right provider. But we have assisted so many international students in the past, whether it'll be, their 485 visa application or any visitor visa application or any other visa category they're applying for. NIB has been always the great pick for us. And, I can assure you that you will definitely won't be disappointed if you choose NIB as compared to the other providers. So moving on further, guys, as I said, we are running out of time. I've got to go through the questions very quickly because our next session is about to start. I've got this one from Dimitri again. If I graduate with master's degree in 2023 or 24, will I be eligible for 3-year visa? For sure, Dimitri. As of now, as per the current information, yes, you will be eligible for 3-year visa. But when we talk about migration, the policies keeps changing. The new regulation may change anytime. But as of now, yes, I can say that 100% that you will be eligible by that time, as long as this legislation is still in place at that time. Next one is from Isaiah Chalcedoni. Does 408 COVID visa has no further stay condition on it? No, we haven't seen any no further stay condition on 408 visa. So you're good to apply for any other visa if you were to apply in Australia. Okay, thanks, Dimitri. Okay, great. Shweta, my student visa ends in August 30. Would you be able to give me a timeline of when I should be doing my PT, health, and police check at the latest? Shweta, if your visa is going to expire next month, I would say by end of this month, you should start working on it. Probably about a month before. Make sure you got the right PD score. Health examination, you can't do it before lodging the application. That is something you always do it after lodging the application. Police check and your PT score, definitely you can go ahead with that. And make sure you need a completion letter for your current course from the provider you are studying, which course you're studying from. Okay, and I'm just keep getting questions on my screen. I'll try to cover up as quick as possible. Abigail, is 485 visa only applicable to an international student studies? Yes, that's right. It's only applicable to the students who are studying in Australia as an international student. So if you're watching this video from overseas, this is not something. This is not a visa that you can apply for. You may be eligible for other visa categories, but 485 visa, it's a temporary graduate visa. It's only for the applicants who have graduated from Australian universities. Hi, sir. Okay, I've already answered that. Harsha Reddy, hi, I completed my master's, got my 485 visa in October 2019. I'm in India from 9th January 2020 to 26th February 20. I got my TR extended till September. Can you please tell me if I'm eligible for 485 replacement? So you have been granted and you were overseas. Yes, that's right, Harsha. You are eligible to apply for 485 replacement visa. So happy days. You can all go ahead. You can go ahead with applying for this visa, and you can come back to Australia and seek, advice from other migration agents or Aussies group in regards to your permanent residency. Montish Dudatra, how much points sufficient to get PR? Will I get PR with 90 points? That's $1 million question, Montish. Most important thing you didn't mention in your question is the occupation, what occupation you're in. If you say that 90 points enough, yes, it is certainly good points, score point to get the permanent residency. But if you're talking about accounting profession with 90 points, unfortunately, that's not the right score. So most important thing that we need to know what occupation we are talking about. But 90 is a good score. Uh, Abigail, so if the student started in Melbourne, he can only have 485 visa in Melbourne. No, it doesn't work that way, Abigail. If you have studied from any Australian university, you can apply for 485 visa and you can move into any other state of Australia as well. So if you studied from Melbourne, it doesn't mean you can't go to Sydney or Brisbane or Perth. You're free to move around on your 485 visa any part of Australia. So, Montish, IT security analyst. Okay, yep. 90 is good. Not bad. I would say it's a pretty good score. There is a very good chance, and I'm not sure, Montish, if you have recently read the announcement from Department of Home Affairs that they will be focusing, on 189 visa category again, which has been a bit slow for last 2 to 3 years. Now they're getting back into the flow to, start processing 189 applications. So I believe with 90 points as it is security analyst, there is a good chances for you to get the invitation. And considering they are going to increase the quota for 189, there's a very good chance you will secure an invitation. Last two question, guys. We are already over the time. Wendy Fong, my student visa will be expiring in October, but I'm planning to work overseas. Okay, so is it possible to apply for it 5 visa while I'm not in Australia? Unfortunately, not possible way. If you were to apply for 485 visa, initial 485 visa, you must be present in Australia. The only, excuse me, the only possibility for you applying from overseas is a replacement 485 visa. But if you talk about initial, no, you can't apply from overseas. Sorry, guys. Last question from Rupinder Kaur. What are processing time for 485 visa Ds for chef? Rupinder, 485 processing time doesn't go along with the occupation. It's just generic processing time. Usually it's about 4 to 6 months. But I mentioned before in this video that there has been some delays from the department due to the limited workforce working in the department. They are working towards clearing the backlog first, and obviously they are getting more applications to work on as well. So you can expect some more delays, but on an average, it's 4 to 6 months. So I hope you applied for the visa application. I wish you all the best. Hopefully, you get your visa grant as soon as possible. So, guys, I would probably stop this session here because, as I mentioned, we have to wait for the next session to go on. Thank you so much for joining, everybody. With all of your questions and showing your interest and watching the live session and understanding how 485 visa works. I'm sure if some of you have attended our other sessions, that would have definitely given you a broad overview of Australian migration and education system, how it works. And this is the whole idea why we plan these sort of live sessions so we can educate our clients or students who are studying in Australia or watching us from overseas or planning to come to Australia. So they have enough knowledge, before they come to Australia or they're already in Australia. They have enough knowledge and information before they go out to see somebody for further information. So you do not get misguided from these people. So, guys, all the best to you, all of you. And once again, thank you so much, Ashish, for joining us in this session. And I appreciate your time. I look forward to see you very soon. And that's all pretty much it from my side, guys. Thanks once again, and have a good evening to all of you. See you then.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks.